Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Rustbelt Collector here with another toy review. Today I'm looking at the Borderlands 2/3 Krieg figure from McFarlane Toys. This figure is, I think, a repack or a re-release of a Borderlands 2 figure. I'm not totally sure. As I said in my last review, I'm not the most experienced with the McFarlane toy line, so this one is kind of a new one for me, and I don't know if this figure has been released before. The only reason I assume that it has is this packaging is different than what you saw on the review I did for the Psycho figure. This is more of a plastic bubble, whereas the other one was more like your typical Black Series with a cardboard box and a little picture window made of plastic. Getting right into it though, this figure looks really awesome in the package. Unfortunately, mine does have some crumpling here where it either got damaged in transport or something. I don't really know, but it didn't affect the figure any, just the box. This figure does include codes for 3 golden keys for the Borderlands 2 game. Again, another clue to make me think that this is a Borderlands 2 figure that they just re-released. On the back here, you've got this really nice picture art. And something I noticed with this figure, this isn't at all really relating to the quality of the figure itself, but it's a small detail, and that I love the small details that really matter. These packages, the crimped plastic packages, are the worst thing to open. There's no bubble to tear off, it's just the worst. But this one comes with a nifty little perforated edge. And it tears the back of the box open. Really nice, and it's easy to access the figure this way. Ordinarily you'd have to like try and get in here with a knife or something, and it's just a pain in the butt, so that's really nice. Anyways, let's take a look at the figure. And there we have him, all out of the box and everything. The box did include this little paper printout. This has the DLC code on the back. I just want to mention, I really do wish that they'd made these characters from Borderlands 2 into figures. I don't know why they only focused on like the enemy characters. I never saw a Zero, or I forget these guys' names, like Brick maybe, or Tank, something like that. But I would have loved to have seen these figures in this line. I should mention right up top, I forgot to mention at the start, this figure was retail for $22.99 at GameStop. I think you can probably find him for $19.99 anywhere else. I just couldn't find him at like a Walmart or something where he would be slightly cheaper. And I also missed the 20% off Borderlands 3 collectibles. That was the promo that was running at GameStop that I got the Psycho figure on. Anyway, starting off, it comes with this Borderlands themed stand for the figure to peg onto. He also comes with this really nice hacksaw weapon. As you can see here, it's got this spinning blade, just like on the Psycho figure. It's a little bit choppier. It seems like these longer tines want to get caught, but I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's a nice detail. Really good texturing and sculpting on this, as you can see. Now, there was one issue that I had with it. Right here, this actually snapped off and I had to super glue it back together. It's a very thin piece of plastic that connects the two together. This is a separate mold and this is a separate mold. I don't know if it was because my packaging was so damaged or if I was maybe just like a touch too rough with it. But regardless, I would be cautious with this point here and either support it with a little bit of super glue dabbed in there or just be extra careful when you're actually handling it. That's the only downside I see with this. I didn't have this issue with the Psycho weapon. I think that was a little bit more sturdy. But, yep, just going forward, be aware of that. Looking at the figure itself now, like with the Psycho, we've got some really great detailing and sculpting going on here. All the details here in his arm and armor, skin detail, the self-shading, the mask detail, it's all really excellent, very game accurate. And looking at the overall articulation here, it looks like he's got some decent articulation. He's got a bit of a down. You can go look down, can't really look up just because of the angle his neck is at. You get maybe a little bit of a side-to-side rock, not much. Looking at his shoulder articulation, you can almost get it straight out, which is nice. It's a socket swivel. You've got a swivel here with your elbow joint, swivel at the wrist, and potentially a joint. I can't really see in there very well. A lot of really cool bolt detail here on the armor. I just like that. They do an excellent job with the sculpt, making it look as near to the games as really they possibly can. Looking at the other arm, it's about the same. You get a little bit more here. This is probably more of a true 90-degree angle. Here it's a little bit less because of all the wrapping that he has from his jumpsuit. And yeah, I don't want to mess with these hands too much, but I would say that that's like actually more of like a socket, like a ball joint. He has a torso joint, but he really has no crunch to it. Seems like it's just a swivel here and a little bit of a swivel at the waist. With the Psycho, you could spin this joint here all the way around. They probably just updated it from this figure because this one really doesn't have that. Looking at the legs, you've got the same hip joint. You can almost get it into a sitting position. You've got some nice outwards, which is something that these newer McFarlane figures are really good at. Although it does kind of leave a really ugly joint or an ugly gap there between the molding lines. And looking at the knees, he gets about almost a 90 at the knees, which is nice. Good for action posing and getting those fine details. And again, here at the feet, I feel like that's a ball and socket joint of some kind. It's not a hinge and swivel or something like it is up here or like it is with the Psycho. I think it's just a ball and socket because there's not much articulation there at all. You don't get a lot of movement, but just looking at it for posing, I mean, it will hold a pose really well, I think. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an action pose, that's a motion pose, and that still holds up really well. Now let's compare this in size to the Borderlands 3 Psycho figure. I'll straighten him up here so he's more or less at his proper height. As you can see, it's about an inch to an inch and a half difference in height, which I think is good. Different skin tones as well, which I think might just be the difference between Borderlands 3 and Borderlands 2. But overall, I mean, if you put these two guys on a shelf next to each other, they're going to look pretty awesome. Alright, let's get this guy out of here. And I think that just about does it. Covered all the points of articulation and everything that this guy comes with. I would say this is a pretty awesome figure to get, especially if you're a fan of him in either Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3. I think he makes a return appearance. As I said, just be careful with this weapon when you get it, when you're taking it out of the package. And let's see. Yeah, he holds that really nicely. I think that's good. I don't feel like I have to strain the plastic in any way to get it into his hands, which is always a concern of mine with these more detailed and less playable figures, I guess would be a way of putting it. These guys aren't really designed for playability. They're more designed to be a shelf collection piece with a lot of detail. I think that just about wraps it up. So if you like this review, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments section. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my Instagram page where you can check out all my cool toy photography and other stuff that I do on there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video.